All right, let's talk about Ramy for a minute. Ramy seems to be reinvigorated. He's, gave a pretty impassioned speech on Instagram about how, he's got the heart of a champion. He's coming back. People shouldn't count him out. By the way, he was speaking surprisingly really good English too. So his English has really improved quite a bit. Mm. And I guess my question for you is, do you think Ramy's going to win this thing?
I think he's a strong front runner. The dynamic, of course, is the junior Ramy is Nick. So, as a pure bodybuilder right now, there's still some things that Ramy has over Nick, but there's some things that Nick has, I think, over Ramy. That's what makes the show an exciting show, is because it's a show where you say you're not sure. But I will say this, Ramy's had some bust years, and he comes back, always slingshots the other way. He had the 18 Olympia. People, when Sean rode him on, people didn't even know he was in it. They're like, "Oh, was Ramy in it that year?" My brother. And it was like a total bust for him because he was second the year before. And the year before, the final call out was him and Phil, and he took the whole year. And Beta Budai wouldn't shut up his mouth, which is tough for him to do anyway. So he was extra loud, saying Ramy was going to win. And it wasn't a bad showing. It was like a tragic showing for him. And he came back from that. So by comparison, you know what I mean? This is... It's on par with that, you know what I mean?
Let me just qualify it for a second, because Ramy, a lot of what Ramy's problems were early on in his career, he just couldn't get in shape. But he had all the muscles were there, all the tools were there, right? I mean, he just couldn't put it together. Correct. Now, I think he had a missed time peak here. I mean, he messed something up the last week, but he does have some deficits now that he didn't have, a couple years ago.
They're not that, Dave. They're not. I don't believe those deficits, because those deficits, if you have a trained eye, they were there. They were there really the year before. Mm-hmm. They were definitely there the year before when he won.
Right.
And they were mostly there the year he won the first time. What the difference is, he just was not at his best at all at this year's Olympia. So it makes things that are not quite right exaggerated. I mean, you can see them for what they really are. You can see them. You can see weaknesses when people aren't at their best. It's like this: if somebody's known for condition and they don't have the best structure, which I'm not saying it's not him, just someone else, a fictitious bodybuilder in the IFBB who's known, let's say, to come in crazy peeled. If he comes in not at his best, we say, "Oh God, his waist is wide. What happened to his waist? It got really wide this year." His arms look small this year too, and his legs lost his sweep. And in reality, he just was not in the condition to hide all that stuff.
Yeah. That's 8 weeks out.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, that's on par to be phenomenal, right?
Yeah, we said that at the Olympia too.
We said what?
That we were looking at the pictures leading up to the show, and we said looks like he might be unbeatable.
Yeah. Well, off the air, I said he's beatable. I hate, because everyone's the consensus is always wrong when you say people are unbeatable.
I see George Farrer wrote a comment in Arabic to him.
Yeah, well, you can translate it too.
He translated it too to make sure everyone knew. God bless and protect you with your pure heart. That's George moving in on the action. I love a good comeback. I hope we see him come back.
Yeah, no, I mean it's.
I get all right. Let's move off Ramy for a second, because I mean everyone loves Ramy. I mean, you can't not like the guy. The guy's got he doesn't. I've never heard him say a malicious thing about anyone. So you can't not like Ramy.